Oh, and welcome back, everyone, to the South Carolina Gamecocks Dynasty. It has been some time since we last spoke, but as you can see, we have upgraded this Dynasty series, and I am very excited to go forward. Usually the beginning of a season is a time to get a couple of easy wins, but today the Gamecocks take on the 14th ranked Mississippi State Bulldogs, a team that last year had a very effective offense, and the 12th ranked Gamecocks are going to have their hands full today with this Bulldogs team. Unfortunately for us, we did lose a lot of production on both sides of the football, so we're going to have to see how our new young playmakers can play and whether or not they have what it takes to come out here and get a win early in this season. Thank you all for sticking with me in this little bit of time, sending my Xbox out, getting it worked on, and I hope that this is worth it for you guys to be able to get college football revamped in the updated jerseys, rosters, and logos all ready to go for this Dynasty mode. As you can see, the team is the same though. We have everybody that graduated, all of that is done. And now we just have to take on a very good Mississippi State Bulldog team. This team is led by junior quarterback Will Rogers, who has had a magnificent career so far in Mississippi State. Last year, 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and they are going to trot out onto the field first here with about 8 minutes. No play gone yet, and they're going to give it quickly to Jaquavius Marks, and he's going to rumble right down the middle, 9 yards. Hopefully the run defense is not a big issue for the Gamecocks. They did lose a lot of defensive linemen. 2nd and 1, though. It's going to be a nice pass to Harvey into triple coverage, but Rufus Harvey makes a nice grab for 5 yards there now, 1st and 10. Rogers is going to give it to the ground again. Dylan Johnson, this time the other running back there. They have a 2-back set, and both of them can play very well. 1st and 10 now. Rogers is going to stick with Johnson, who's got a lot of space on the outside. He's going to get tripped up, but he's got 5 yards on that one. 2nd and 5. It's going to continue to be Mississippi State's ball. Rogers sticks to the ground again. Jaquavius Marks bounces off of Hemingway for a second. He's got 6 yards there. They just continue to run it down our throat. 2nd and 8 now. Rogers takes the snap out of the shotgun. This time he's going to launch it to the right side, and Rufus Harvey barely doesn't get into the end zone. 1st and goal now for the Bulldogs. Rogers, it's going to be a toss to Johnson. Nobody's there. Beautiful blocking all around, and the Bulldogs are going to answer early here with a 2-yard touchdown run. They are trying to silence the haters very early here. A 14-12 rank matchup as Spencer Rattler and company are going to trot out on the field. You can see he is the impact player here. As expected, him to have a great senior season here in his last year. Just his 2nd year at South Carolina on a 1st and 10. His first pass of the season flies well past Corey Rucker. A little bit of a confusion there between the receiver and the quarterback. Now 3rd and 8. Rattler out of the shotgun, wants to throw again. There's really nobody open. He launches it into triple coverage. Rattler was about to get taken down, and the Bulldogs will get the ball right back as the Gamecocks offense stalls early. Now on 2nd and 10, they're going to go to Marks, and David Spalding, excited to see what he can do this year. We actually moved Cam Smith over to cornerback again, so Spalding could get playing time at that strong safety position on a 3rd and 9. Rufus Harvey in the under route. Not even really close. He's got 2 yards, but they're going to have to give it back to South Carolina. 2nd and 11 now on the next Gamecocks possession. Rattler out of the shotgun. This time it's going to be a slant to Rucker. And Corey Rucker, the Arkansas State transfer from 2 years ago, is now going to make his first catch of the year and the first completion for this Gamecocks team. Now 3rd and 2. Rattler goes to the young Landon Sampson. Had a very small role last year, but he's going to get us the first down there. Now 2nd and 9. Rattler wants to throw again. Steps up, delivers, and leads Sampson up the field, and he's got a nice catch and run of 17 yards. Beautiful delivery there from Rattler. Now 1st and 10. Out of the shotgun, he's going to go to Lloyd on the ground. Got some good blocking. Haven't heard a lot from Marshawn Lloyd in this first quarter. He hasn't really been able to get going, but that time he gets about 6. Now in 2nd and 4, he's going to go to Jaheim Bell, and Bell is going to get a nice first down gain there. Rattler this time on the option, keeps it himself. Nobody goes with Rattler. Won't see that very often with this offense, but Spencer Rattler's going to trample forward for about 12 yards. Now 2nd and 10 on the same drive. Rattler, play action, looks to throw, and he just has to eat the sack. Probably would have been an interception if he threw it, but it leads us to a 3rd and 20 now. Another play action. Rattler looks to throw again, and he's sacked again. Terrible blocking there by the offensive line, and the Gamecocks drive stalls once again. 3rd and 5, though, for the Bulldogs on the next possession. Rogers sends a man in motion. They stick it to the ground, and Jordan Birch makes a nice move there very quickly to interrupt that one, as the Gamecocks will start their next drive with very good field position. 1st and 10, Rattler looks to throw into coverage. It's intercepted by Purvis, the linebacker. He's got a lot of space to run, and Cunningham is going to bring him down. But the Gamecocks offense, the first turnover of the season, and Spencer Rattler hopefully does not make that a very, very common thing, as Dylan Johnson with a nice 8-yard run before he's brought down. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs now. Rogers out of the shotgun. He's going to go to Johnson up the middle, and he's got another very easy 9 yards. Very concerning for this Gamecocks defense, allowing these type of runs. Now Rogers out of the shotgun, 2nd and inches. They decide to throw it, and this time he's got Harvey wide open. He beat Anthony Rose on the slant route, and that's an 8-yard gain. Now 3rd and 5 later on the same drive. In field goal range, Rogers takes the snap. He wants to throw again. This time it's intercepted by David Spalding. He jumps the route, and David Spalding out of nowhere, what looked like a first down, is going to be intercepted by the junior safety. Very impressed with his play so far, and his read on that ball was beautiful. 2nd and 21 now in the Gamecocks' next possession. After a sack, it's going to be a screen to Lloyd, who makes a couple of guys miss after some nice blocking. A 3rd and 3 after a 2nd and 21 is a best-case scenario. Now 3rd and 3, Rattler keeps it himself on the read option, and he's got the first down just barely. They actually read it fairly decently, but Rattler made something happen. Now on 1st and 10, Jaheim Bell. The pass is a little behind him, but 11 yards and another first down. Trying to get this offense going now. Rattler on 3rd and 2 fires into the open middle of the zone. Landon Sampson, a 16-yard catch. I've been impressed with him so far. Now 1st and 10, jet sweep to Rucker. Nice blocking on the edge. Corey Rucker is making a magnificent debut with that 15-yard run. Rattler now 1st and 10 on the option. Tries to keep it himself. Couldn't pitch it, and he is brought down for a loss of 1. 2nd and 11 now. Rattler. They're going to bring a blitz. He dumps it to Lloyd wide open in the flats. Needs one man to block, and he's got a touchdown. Marshawn Lloyd from 18 yards out. Corey Rucker with the magnificent block down the field. And Rattler knew instantly. They brought everyone. Lloyd was wide open in the flats, and if you get him in the open field, he is a playmaker. At minimum, he is going to get into that end zone, and the game is all tied up. 7-7 for the Gamecocks now, as Dylan Johnson continues where he left off with an easy 9-yard run. That is going to bring up another 1st and 10 for this Bulldogs offense, as Rogers and company haven't thrown the ball all that much, but when they have, they've been effective outside of the interception. This time he's going to go to Kyle Clark for a 9-yard reception. The tight end there is going to make a nice grab. 3rd and 1, though, for the Bulldogs. They just need 1 yard. They've been very effective on the ground so far. Rogers sends a man in motion. They go with the option, and Johnson gets there. They're going to give him that. Very questionable call. But now a 1st and 10. Rogers out of the shotgun. This time he finds Wally. Jaden Wally made a nice move to get free, but unfortunately for them, ran out of room on the sideline. Now 3rd and 6. Rogers wants to throw again. Gets hit as he throws, and it's intercepted again. Who else could it be? David Spalding to the 50 and pushed out of bounds. His 2nd interception in the game. His 2nd interception in a row on this Bulldogs offense, as that brings up a 3rd and 10 on the Gamecocks drive. Unfortunately, Rattler's just going to sling it to Corey Rucker deep downfield. He is not able to make the catch. Really hasn't been able to get the offense going, but that would send us into halftime as the Gamecocks come out here 7-7 all. Robinson's going to drop the pass there. I believe I called him Cunningham earlier. It is Robinson. I did not mean that. Now 3rd and 10. Rattler going to go to Rucker again, who's on the screen, and he has got a nice gain there. 14 yards right down the middle of that defense. Now 1st and 10. They could take the lead here if they score. Rattler's going to give it to Lloyd on the jet sweep or the zone run. He's going to be brought down by what looked like the face mask, but he was not going to get that call. 2nd and 10 now. Rattler's going to pitch it to Juju McDowell on the triple option. He cuts it back inside. He's got 8 yards. Juju is a very good backup. Now 1st and 10. They try another screenplay. Corey Rucker flipped in the air. Stays on his feet, and he stumbles forward 16 yards almost almost had one of the greatest touchdowns I've ever seen. Now 1st and 10. Rattler steps into the pocket, fires to Bell. Touchdown! Jaheim Bell, 16 yards, and the Gamecocks go up 14-7 as the leading tight end from last season, who was thinking about declaring for the draft, is going to make his mark on this game early in the season with a nice touchdown grab. And the Mississippi State Bulldogs, not behind by a lot, just a touchdown, have to make some type of noise as they do just that, as Ra Thomas, their leading receiver. Haven't heard a ton from him today, but also they've been running it a lot. 2nd and 7 now. Rogers out of the shotgun. He's going to fire this one to Harvey, who had a lot of space. Unfortunately, falls down out of bounds. Now 3rd and 3. Rogers wants to throw again. Got a man open in the flats. Instead, he takes the sack. And this Gamecocks defense, I will admit, since the first drive has been very, very suffocating. Now 2nd and 4. Marshawn Lloyd's going to take the zone, and he's rumbling downfield for 11 yards. He did get lit up at the end of that one, though. 14-7 is your score still. Now 1st and 10. Rattler throws to the flats. He's got Marshawn Lloyd again, who kind of bumps off of a couple of people. Looked like he maybe had about 7 yards. He fumbles backwards for about 6 yards, 4 to 5 yards maybe. Now 3rd and 6. Rattler on the option, gives it to Marshawn Lloyd, who just has nowhere to go. They are trying to get that option game going, but it's not really leaving any type of impact on this defense. Now 1st and 10. Rogers sends a man in motion. It's going to be a screenplay. Nowhere to go, and he's sacked again. This time, it's the big man out there on the defensive line, and the Bulldogs offense faces a 3rd and 19 as time counts down here in this third quarter. Rogers wants to throw, almost sacked. The ball kind of just falls harmlessly to the ground. 4th and 19 now. They're going to be forced to punt it, and very good punt so far for the Bulldogs. Lavosa Carroll, the young running back, back to return. He's got a lot of room on the left side. Out to the 30. To the 25. Spin move off of a man, but the cavalry arrives, and the Gamecocks start deep in Bulldog territory. 1st and 10 now for Rattler and company. Out of the shotgun with Lloyd to his right. He wants to take the snap, wants to throw, fires across the middle of the field. It's intercepted again. Richardson, the safety, was lurking in the zone. He burst through the middle, almost had a pick 6 there. That would have been absolutely crazy. But to Camryon Richardson with his first interception of the year. Spencer Rattler with his 2nd thrown of the game. The Gamecocks offense once again gifts this Bulldogs offense an opportunity, but they quickly find themselves on a 3rd and 10. Rogers fires, and it's dropped. Ra Thomas, their number 1 receiver, makes a very costly mistake. Thankfully, the interception doesn't do a lot for the Gamecocks. Marshawn Lloyd on the counter has got a lot of space, and he's pushed backwards, but he's going to get 7 yards credited on that run. Now 2nd and 3, Rattler wants to throw. This time he's going to go to Robinson, the new receiver out of the class from last year. The freshman is going to get the catch, and Marshawn Lloyd's 2nd and 10 run is going to be a very, very good 13-yard run. Now 2nd and 11, Rattler and company now in the 4th quarter. He is going to take the snap on the counter to Marshawn Lloyd, who's got a lot of room, but he's quickly bottled up for 5 yards. Looked like it could have went for more, but unfortunately, it didn't. Now 3rd and 6, Rattler wants to throw it, and he tried to shovel it forward. Thankfully, that's an incomplete pass, and the Gamecocks are going to have to settle with Mitch Jeter in a 4th and 6 here, deep in Bulldog territory. They're going to take the field goal to make this a 2-score game. Thankfully, Mitch Jeter lines this one up and sends it straight through. We all know the struggles from last year. Hopefully, he can turn it around this year. He has had a good start so far with the extra points and that 1 field goal. Now, 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Dylan Johnson continues to get stuffed ever since that first drive. He has had some nice runs. They just can't string anything together. And on a 2nd and 14, Johnson is going to get that one right back for 18 yards and more. Beautiful blocking, a beautiful run by the Bulldogs, and they may have to hurry up this offense a little bit more. You can't run it when you're down 2-score with about 6 minutes in the 4th quarter all the time. This time, Jaquavius Marks is going to be brought down in the backfield. Terrell Dawkins has had himself a very good day so far. 3rd and 11 for the Bulldogs. Rogers out of the shotgun. He's going to send his running back in motion. Johnson is out there wide open, and it's going to be a sack anyways. 4th and 19. Now they don't go for it. The Gamecocks get the ball back. They run a couple minutes off the clock. Now they face a 3rd and 2. This one's going to go to Rucker on the jet sweep. He does not get the first down, so they're going to punt it right back to the Bulldogs. 3:55 remains in this game. Rogers takes the snap. He's going to give it to Johnson on the counter, who makes a man miss, and Anthony Rose and Cam Smith collectively bring him down. So 2nd and 4, 3.5 minutes remaining. They are still running it. Dylan Johnson again with the first down run. That is 6 yards. 3rd and 10 now. Right at 3 minutes remaining. Rogers takes the snap. Gives it to Johnson again. Likely 4-down territory. They were hoping for a couple yards to make it 4th and medium, but instead they get nothing. Now it's 4th and 10. Rogers takes the snap, wants to throw. Nobody really open. Jaden Wally out of bounds, and the Bulldogs turn it over on 4th down. Will Rogers' tough day continues. I mean, he has played terrible today. Rattler on a 3rd and 7. He is going to break a couple sacks, just too much pressure, and they give the ball back to the Bulldogs. 1st and 10 now. Rogers and company back on the field. He's going to take the snap. Looks to throw in the flats. Jaquavius Marks. I mean, come on now. Eventually, you've got to push it down the field, you fear, if you're a Bulldogs fan. Now, 3rd and 11. 4-down territory, no doubt, down by 10. Rogers wants to take it. Launch it down the field, and it's caught. Rufus Harvey, 16 yards, as they are going to hurry down the field. 1st and 10, they may get some momentum maybe off of that. I don't know where that has been all game long. Rogers takes the snap, wants to throw again, into coverage, and it's David Spalding again with the interception. And that will just about do it, as the Gamecocks are going to take down a top 15 team in week 1 as they eliminate the Mississippi State Bulldogs 17-7 here in season 2's home, or week 1. Well, I won't lie and say it's the most exciting game to start the year, but a win is a win. Rattler on the day, 16 of 27, 152 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions as well. Only a 59% completion percentage, so a disappointing debut for the quarterback last year. That was very good for us, but I mean, don't forget that he did have a lot of interceptions last year as well, so hopefully this is just getting it out of his system kind of early. Rushing wise, Marshawn Lloyd, 18 for 75, about 4 yards per carry, no touchdowns on the ground. Rattler had a decent running game, but the sacks are kind of obviously going to be held against him because in college they take it out of your rushing yards. Juju McDowell only had 3 carries for 11 yards, and Corey Rucker, the one jet sweep worked, the other jet sweep didn't work at all. Receiving wise, Jaheim Bell, 4 for 36 and a touchdown. Marshawn Lloyd, 4 for 38 and a touchdown. Landon Simpson, 3 for 36. Corey Rucker, 3 for 39. I think his name is Brian Robinson. I think I could be misremembering that. I don't blame me, because it has been so long since I've looked at these rosters, just trying to get everything set for the, with college football revamped and everything. And it's going to be Brandon Robinson, the freshman we brought in. We have a lot of freshman receivers, thankfully, so maybe some of them will develop, but it is going to be Brandon Robinson. Obviously, I should have known that, but it is what it is. He had 1 catch, and Juice Wells surprisingly did not have anything going in this game. Juice Wells had the 1 catch for 0 yards, and outside of that, he really couldn't get anything going. He didn't have any runs. He didn't have any other touches. Definitely got to get him more involved going forward. We had 3 sacks allowed all day long. Defensively, magnificent showing. Mississippi State scored on their first drive, did not score at all the rest of the game. 8 total tackles for David Spalding, 1 for loss. He had a decent game in coverage, 3 interceptions, an amazing game for David Spalding. Would have liked to take one of those back to the house, but it is what it is. Debo Williams had 8 total tackles, 7 solo, 1 for loss, and 4 for loss, 2 sacks. Mo Kaba had 7 total, 6 solo. Who else had a sack? Terrell Dawkins had himself a great start to the season. 4 total tackles, 2 for loss, 1 sack. Tonka Hemingway also put in 1 sack as well. And I believe we should see Jordan Birch, who also had 1 tackle for loss. Mitch Jeter, 1 for 1 on the year so far. Very impressed with his turnaround after last season. Kai Kroger, 6 punts, though. That's a lot, honestly. That is a lot. Kick returns, Lavosa Carroll had 2 returns for 50 yards. In punt returns, he had 4 returns for 52 yards. He set us up with some very, very good field position early in this game, or early in the season so far. Next episode, we will be taking on the 6th ranked North Carolina Tar Heels. They have not played a game yet, but they have a very, very electric offense. And as you can see, they are picking, ESPN and Corso are picking the Tar Heels to win this one, the battle for the Carolinas. Let's go ahead and look over here at North Carolina. Obviously, they have Drake May, who is their star quarterback, hoping that he can come back and become their, hopefully, Heisman-winning quarterback for the Tar Heels. And as you can see, we have a very tough schedule to start the season. We took down the Bulldogs. We were able to schedule some kind of easy game here at the end of the season versus Ohio, but we have our work cut out for us versus number 6 UNC, versus number 4 Georgia, Texas A&M, Kentucky, number 9 Arkansas, number 17 Tennessee, Missouri Vanderbilt, number 11 Florida, and then Ohio and Clemson to round out the season. So it's not going to be easy, obviously, and before we round out this episode, hope you guys have enjoyed. Let's go ahead and check out the recruiting so far for the season. Now, I did change the recruiting rules a little bit. Last season, I was not doing any scouting whatsoever. This season, I'm going to allow 50% scouting so we can see at least a few of their priority or their main attributes that we need to see. And we'll look at the team needs right now. As of what this says, we need a tackle, a center, a kicker, and on the defensive side, we need a defensive end, middle linebacker, 2 strong safeties, and a punter. So we need a lot of positions. Unfortunately, that is going to be a lot of points that we do not have to give to skill positions. You know, we're not going to be able to give guys like quarterbacks or running backs a lot of points because we just need to bring in so many other skill positions. As you can see, our team needs, we have 16 players on there. Marcus Clark is the guy we're going after from Clearwater, South Carolina. He's a 2-star kicker. You know, I think we can do fine with him as long as he develops. Michael Hamiller from Southgate, California would be a good get here, 4-star center. We are currently second place for him. Will Archer is a center we're going after. He's a 67 overall out of Homestead, Florida. He has us on first place. The tackle position, Justin McDonald and Corey Nelson are 2 guys that I would really like to get both of them because we could have some depth. But no big deal if we only get one of them. Defensive end is probably the more important of all of these. James Macklin out of East Naples, Florida. We have him currently as a 73 overall from, down 20 behind Troy. Kevin Clayton from Texas. We have Aaron Buchanan from Florida as well. We've got a couple guys down here that we are not scouting because we ran out of points. This guy from Camden, South Carolina, Cole Robinson, would be a big get, but I'm not going to go after him too heavy unless we run out of points or we have extra points from other places. Jeff Clark from Greer is our number 1 guy here at the middle linebacker position. Stephen Lewis. Kyle Webb would be a very, very big get out of Maryland. You know, we have a very big presence in the DC area, but unfortunately we're right now back for 280. Hopefully we can pull it off. Kevin James, Julius Jackson there as strong safeties, and Keith Perkins as well to round out those positions. And I will just go through and look at a couple of other guys we are scouting or at least have on our recruiting board. We have Johnny King, a 5-star quarterback out of Connecticut. Very interested to see where he goes. Right now, unfortunately, we don't have the points to give to him, but I would love to be able to scout him later on. Receiving-wise, 2 guys here. DJ Long, a 4-star out of Alabama, and Jason Ziegler, a 4-star out of Key Largo, Florida. I would be very happy to get them, but don't sweat it too much. Tight end-wise, we're going pretty heavily after Josh Brown, a 4-star from Key West, Florida. He is the number 4 tight end in the class, and I want to get him on this roster because Jaheim Bell is graduating, and we very, very much need his, his expertise, basically. We need him on this roster. And I believe that's all the points we had to go around on the board. No, we also are scouting out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 4-star Jimmy Rawls, sitting at a 74 overall. We haven't scouted him at all yet, so he could very easily go down. And we also have this athlete here, Bill Benson from St. Andrews, South Carolina. And that's going to round out this first episode as far as scouting goes. There's not a lot going on. Obviously, it's very early in the season. As you can see, we don't jump up at all, actually. By beating the Bulldogs, we sit at number 12 still because nobody else really played last week, as you'll see here. Week 1 is usually either a bye week or just a few teams play, and we really didn't have many big matchups. I guess there were a few ranked matchups. USC won, Utah won. There wasn't really any big upsets. I guess you could say Tennessee took down Kansas State. They upset them, maybe. I guess you could say Alabama put a whooping on West Virginia. No really big upsets that I could look at. You've got Colorado losing or beating Colorado State in the Rocky Mountain Showdown. Georgia takes down Ole Miss. Now, let me check real quick. I do want to see. I don't think they will have him. I don't think they do. But I want to see if Colorado has Deion Sanders. I wouldn't think so because he is currently not, or technically when I started this, he wasn't the head coach. But I imagine if I restarted a dynasty, they would have him added. So let me see. I want to go over to Colorado. And let's just see here. Here is all the SEC coaches as of right now. Mike Leach, rest in peace to the big man there. I mean, just a very, very big legend, and thankfully he gets to live on still in this dynasty mode. The Pac-12, Colorado nope, they still have Mike Sanford there as their head coach. His 1 year at Colorado, he went 6-7, 1-4 versus the top 25. But anyways, guys, that is the end of episode 1 here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm trying to go a little bit longer as far as highlights go, and the game goes. I do want to include more plays. I want to include more commentary, stuff like that. Thank you all for sticking with me in this little bit of, space in between videos, but I am back, and this series is going to continue to move forward. I hope you guys will join me next week as we take on the 6th ranked North Carolina Tar Heels.